Hey everybody, welcome back to Lamson Family Farms. My name is Max, and today is February the 7th. It's a Wednesday. I'm out here in the barn working on my goat maternity ward / milking area. I've got goats to kid starting in March, and so I'm trying to get this area done. I've got an area right now for the goats where they live, but I don't have anywhere for them to kid and then to put the kids because we'll be doing bottle babies. And I don't have a good area to milk. So we're fairly new to this farm. We moved in last June, and we only had we had 2 goats in milk last year. One was raising her kids, so we didn't milk her. And then we had one that we were milking, and we would just put her in the cow milking stanchion, and she did fine. But this year I've got 5 goats in milk, and I need a dedicated milking area. And so my plan is to get this space ready so you can kind of see it. It is kind of like a D shape, and I've got one area back there that is going to become stalls for kids, and it is about 10 feet wide by about 24 feet long. And then I've got this area with coral color, and that is, I'm hoping to make that into the milking area. And this is about, I think it was 14 feet, maybe 12 feet wide by, I think it was just under 20 feet long. So it will be a goat milking area. I'm hopeful that I can also get a cow milking stanchion in here. We'll see how that goes. Behind me is the door to the middle area of the barn, which I've got my cows in. So it would make sense for them just to walk in here and be milked and then back to where they are in the barn. But we'll see. Right now I'm working on putting up some walls because I'm hoping to heat this area. So you can see behind me there, I've kind of got a wall put up. It's just makeshift. It's not structural, it's just cosmetic. I will be painting everything in this room, probably just a white. So that's what I'm working on today. A couple days ago, I worked on putting up that plywood section for the wall, and then this was a door that I repurposed as a wall. That door was on top of this table. Anyway, so today I am working on making that into a door. And I'm thinking about doing a Dutch door, so you could do half at a time. So that way in like the summer I could do the bottom half and it would act as like a stall, but I can keep the top open for some airflow. And then this door over here, that's going to be staying, that's where the goats live. So I'll take you through there so you can see them. But so this kidding area will be right off where the girl goats are. And so I can let them loose in there and they can come through this door to be milked and then go back. So this is their area. And I just fed them, so hopefully they'll be quiet. But I've got 3 pens in this area. These are the big girls, 3 of them. They're all kidding in March. And then 2 of the girls in the middle area will also be kidding in March. Nora is first due. She's due March 7th. And then I think the lineup is I've got a week between Nora, and then the next week I've got Noni, the Moonspot one, and Gaia, the brown one in the middle area, both due on the same day. I think it's March 14th. And then 5 days later I've got Gaia due, or maybe it was Venus. That one due, and then Go here, our herd queen, she's due towards the end of March, and that'll be the 5. So we're expecting anywhere between 5 kids to upwards of 15. Noni here, this will be her 3rd year kidding. She threw quads the first year, triplets the second year, so I think she has triplets this year, but we'll see. Anyway, so trying to get everything set up for them. to do with this door is, yes, I want a door, but as I'm thinking about measurements, I don't want too much of a gap between the top section and the bottom section, because I do plan on heating this room, so I don't want a lot of gaps, because it gets quite cold in the barn, especially just on the other side of this wall. Tends to be where a lot of the wind comes through, so I want to be really mindful of that. So I'm thinking about doing the bottom half of this gate. I'm going to do a bottom and a top, so it will be like a Dutch door, and I think I'm going to do 4 feet for the bottom, so that way if I have this open and I have animals loose in here, they're probably not going to be able to jump that. Because if I just did half, this is 6 feet total, I'm only coming up to here, that would be 3 feet, and that's too short. So I think I'm going to do 4 feet, and then I'll do 2 feet for the top section. And I have been trying to just decide how I want the door to swing. So I thought about swinging it this way, but then I end up with a little awkward gap here. Obviously I've got this ladder here, so swinging out would be really hard. This ladder lifts up, so I will be tying this up so it's out of the way most of the time. And eventually, so right now this is the only stairs to the hay mow, which we use every day because we've got hay up there and we also have chickens up there. But eventually we want to be putting a actual staircase in the entryway to the barn just on the other side of this wall. So hopefully in the future we won't actually be using this too much, and I can either move it or just have it put up most of the time. But in any case, having the door swing out would be really inconvenient, because if it's down, you're just going to hit it and you're just going to keep getting stuck. I don't really want it swinging this way, because then it's just in the way. Julia was thinking though that if it swings this way and I have the cow stanchion here, it will act as a gate, which will be nice to keep the cows in. I just haven't really decided the layout I want for the goat stanchion. As of right now, I'm thinking it's going to go along that wall, because I only have one plug-in in this whole shop, and it's over there, so it would make sense to have the electric milker in a cabinet over there, and then that way I could just do a little ramp down for the goats to go out. And then this area, so it's going to be from here, that way is going to be the milking area, but from here this way is stall. And so I'm going to be dropping there'll be a wall here, but it will be kind of like a wall of gates, because I probably will try to fit 3 gates in this section. And let's see how long this section is. I think it's about 15 feet. Oh, no, I was wrong. 10 feet. So I think I'm going to have 3 gates, and so that way I'll make it so that I can make stall dividers that are removable, so I can have them when I need them and have a gate for each section. But if I don't need it and I've got something larger, or I'm growing goat kids out in here, I can take the dividers out and they can free range in this stall. But, especially for day-old kids and, just getting used to the lamb bar, bucket, I want them in a smaller area. So each stall that'd be roughly 3.5, 3.33 feet of each section. And it's a pretty deep stall. I think that's also like 10 feet deep. So they'll have plenty of room. And I need to see how I'm gonna set up for this year, but I've also got calves. I've got 2 calves due in May. And so I might be putting calves in this room as well. Yeah, so I'll do 4 feet high for the bottom section of that door. I think I probably will have it swing. I think I'll have it go this way. Which will be nice too, because there's a little lip here. So if I did the door on top, I'd be getting more airflow than if I did it pushing in this way, because it will be blocked by the cement lip. And I'll do it a little wide. You can't quite see here, but I've got a little gap. There's this wall, but on the bottom, there's about an inch of board that comes out. That would be really awkward to put the door on top of. So I won't have to worry about that if the door swings this way. I do think it would be nice for this top section to put some plexiglass or a window so you can see through. The last owner left me a bunch of windows, so I could probably find a window that fits that. Or I'm thinking about taking off that plexiglass section because it's not very, there's a big gap at the top, so I'm gonna have to fix it anyway. But the goats are so loud, and every time they see you through that window, they just start bawling. So it might be nice if I just board that up, because I can still see through, there's still a little window on that door, so it's not gonna be the end of the world. But I think it would be nice to have a little window on this Dutch door, so we'll see. So I know I've got a bunch of hinges that I brought with me, so I hopefully won't have to buy anything. So every time we come up the stairs, the chickens are here in this area. And it's so cute. When you come up the stairs, you see their little heads looking at you. Hi, you guys. These are chicks that we bought last summer. So they're just coming up on laying age. And there's about 40 of them in there. But we keep getting more and more eggs. So today I collected 18 eggs. And I've been trying to only collect in the morning so I can keep a good count. But aren't they cute? They're going to go outside next year. I just wasn't sure how cold it was going to be this winter. And they were still pretty young. So I built this temporary space for them. And it's been great because they're protected from the wind and the cold. It actually hasn't been as cold as I thought it was going to be. So I could probably move them outside now. But it's only February and it's just the beginning of February. And I just know the second I move them outside, it's going to get really cold, and I'm going to regret doing it. But in any case, they're going to go outside next year. I think it would be really cute to do a ladder or like a ramp for them so that they will roost in here at night, but then can go out in the front yard, or like the horses area would be really nice because they could scratch up, the horse manure, but then climb up the ramp at night. So we have 2 roosters in there. One is an Easter egger and one is a black copper Moran rooster. And I did that so that when we hatch out our own eggs, we can start doing the fun F2s and F3s with the different colors. We've got a lot of green layers in there and some dark brown layers as well as some tan layers. I always think it's really unfortunate that the really pretty chickens, the ones that we like, I like all the ones with the penciling and like the golden lace Wyandotte and the Barnvelder, and who else do I have? The partridge coach and all those ones with the feathering. They mostly lay tan. And it's usually the chickens that you don't really notice that lay the fun colors. Okay, so I've got my pile of hinges here, and I think what I'm going to do, even though I really like the look of these old hinges, is I'm going to need 4, and I only have 3 of that style in that size. So these 3. This one's a little different, which isn't a huge deal, and then this one is a little bit bigger, but I will save those for another project. I think what I'm going to do is use these 4 hinges that are the same size that I had bought, I don't know, a while back. They're bigger than what I need for that top half, but for the sake of everything matching, I'll just use those. I've got one smaller one in this style, but I don't have 2 of them. I just have 1 of them I don't know why I just ended up with one of those, but I'm trying not to need to buy anything for this project. So I'm going to reuse these 4 because I brought them from Washington State to use them, and I'm going to use them. So I will put these ones up and wait for another project. It does feel really good to have a barn and have a bigger piece of infrastructure that we can use for the animals instead of having to make a bunch of outbuildings in a, here and there outside. Like, yes, I'm putting up a wall in the barn, but we already have the barn, and I'm just making the spaces the way that I need them. So this is the upstairs of the barn, the hay mow. It's beautiful. I love this barn. It was an old dairy. The section I was just in with the chickens was an addition, as well as that space is an addition. But this is the main portion of the barn, and it's just so cool. It's got all the old woodwork. I don't know if you can see it with the pegs. That's all original. It's just really neat to be in here. So right now I've got all this wood piled up here just to try to get it out of the way from downstairs in the barn. But eventually I'm planning on making this area, this addition to the barn, into a shop. So the goat maternity area was the designated shop area when we moved in, but I was originally going to keep it as a shop, but then I realized I'm going to need an area for goat kids. So this section of the barn, this was an addition. So below us is the cows. This section of the barn has power. So there's a power hookup and there's lights over there. So it would be a good spot for a shop. And we might make it also into like a ceramic studio in the future. I think that'd be really cool. But any case, I've got all this scrap wood piled here, and there was some lumber left by the previous owner, which has been so helpful. When I get a chance, I'll go through it. A lot of it's got nails and screws in it, but I'm hoping I can find some good wood here to make the door downstairs for the goat ward. I think one of the things that I struggle with for these projects is feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work that needs to happen and how much each day I can dedicate time to it. Like yesterday, by the time I got all my chores done, everybody fed, and I got some food, and your day's going by and you're trying to get these projects done, and I only ended up having a couple of hours, and I really struggled with, like, is it even worth trying to start working on a bit of this project? And then you end up, if you do that consistently over time, it ends up feeling like you're getting overwhelmed, that time's going by and you're not making any progress on these projects. And yesterday I finally was like, yeah, let me just go try to get something done. Doing a little bit of something on your project each day is significantly better than not doing it at all. Like, sometimes it's easy to think, well, if I don't have all day to just spend on this project, I just won't do it. But yesterday I only had a couple of hours and I managed to get this section of the wall done. And so even if you only do a little bit each day, it does add up. And at least for me, it's easier to do a project like this because the end goal feels very overwhelming, especially when you're in a state like this. There's still a lot that needs to be done. But if you break it down into the small chunks, it becomes a lot more manageable as far as your mental state and feeling overwhelmed. Because if I come out and say, look, the end goal is to get a goat kidding area ready, that's great, but how am I going to achieve that project? So each day I'm like, okay, today I'm doing the door. If I don't get it done tomorrow, I will keep working on the door. And then I'll think of the next thing that needs to be done. And yeah, I can, in my mind now that I keep doing projects this way, and it's easier for me to get bigger projects done because I know how to break it down and keep myself focused and keep myself from getting overwhelmed. It's easier for me to now then go, look, I want a goat kidding area, I want a milking area. How am I going to get this done? Okay, first I need to clear out the space, then I need to do the wall, then I need to do the door. Next, after the door, I'm going to insulate all the areas that have airflow, then I'm going to paint, then I'm going to do probably the stall doors, then I'm going to do the stall partitions, then I'm going to do the milking stanch, and I need to do a ramp. So it's just easier to start breaking those up into smaller projects, and that's how you get things done, is you make it manageable. So I would really encourage people who are trying to do bigger farm projects to, if you're not used to this, write it down, make a list of the steps. Give yourself an actual amount of time per day that you want to work on projects. Doesn't matter if it's half an hour, a couple hours, 4 or 5 hours, or the whole day. Like, it helps to write it down and it helps to break it up. So today I'm working on the door, and I have a whole month to do this project, and I'm pretty confident I can get it done. So I'm just going to keep taking it one step at a time. I do also think I probably struggle with, I don't want to call it ADHD because I'm not diagnosed ADHD, but it's really easy to bounce around between projects when you hit a roadblock on a project. It's easier just to go, I'm going to go start working on this project. Or, oh, okay, I can't do this now. I'm going to go start at something else. And that might be fine, but for things like this where I've got a deadline and it needs to be done, it's been really difficult to get myself to concentrate on this project, especially when it feels overwhelming. Yeah, it's just hard. And I just keep learning about how to do projects. I'm not perfect, and it's really easy to envision in your mind how you want the end goal to look like, and when it doesn't look like that, you beat yourself up. At least I know I do, because it's like, well, that's not what I wanted it to be, but it's functional and it's fine, and maybe I don't have the skills I need to get it to the way I wanted it to look, but I'm still gaining skills along the way, and my projects now look a lot better than my projects did in the past. So it's getting there, and I can always go back and redo it if I want to later, but having something usable right now is better than not having it usable because it doesn't look the way I necessarily wanted it to look. So like this door part of the wall, not necessarily how I wanted it to look. Is it fine? Yes. Is it functional? Yes. Did I reuse materials instead of going to buy something else? Definitely yes. I'm gonna paint it, it's gonna look great, it will be fine. But it's just not how I wanted it to look in my mind, and so it's still, to me, it's like, oh, that's not really the way I wanted it, but I need to move on to the next project, so. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the door done. Now I just am trying to decide where and how I want the handles to be put on. So I'm thinking that it would be helpful if I made the bottom doors latch on the outside, so not on this side, because if I've got animals in here, I don't want them accidentally being able to open the latch. And that I might put the top latch in this room, so that way each door has a latch on the opposite side. So like if I'm in the middle of the barn, I can still get in here because I could open one door and then reach over and open the other door. Whereas if I put both of the latches inside here, I lose my ability to get in this room from the other parts of the barn.
Hey everyone. Sorry, didn't do a follow-up video, but got the door all done. Got the latch put on the way that I wanted, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'll try to shoot a video of that tomorrow before I start working on the next project in that room. Next up, I'm going to be sealing up all the areas that have airflow because I'm going to be heating that spot, so I want to get that tightened up. Anyway, here's Onslow playing with his prey. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.